All right. Well, God bless you abundantly in the wonderful name of Jesus Christ. Welcome, Michigan Saints, to this inaugural Michigan Virtual Heartbeat. That's the best thing I have for it right now. It was such a blessing to meet so many of you on our statewide branch meeting tour with the Macaritas. And we are definitely looking forward to visiting every fellowship in the state later this year. But Kim and I wanted to have this opportunity to communicate with you more than just words on colored paper once every 2 months. Though technology should never replace the importance of being together, it does open doors for opportunities in addition to being face to face. There's nothing like being together and enjoying each other's hugs, presence, love, and smiles. We enjoyed that this morning at fellowship. But something like this, technology offers. Now, these monthly conference calls will be for unifying the state with the word on our hearts and to update you on any pertinent information around the ministry in Michigan and the world. So this initial meeting will be a little different in that I have something specific I'd like to cover with you. Now, if you have never been to one of these kind of events, like the Rock of Ages, or a God's Word in Business and Profession conference, or an advanced class, or an advanced class special, if you've never been to any of those, then what I'm about to share might seem a little foreign to you. And I get that. If you've never experienced something, when you hear someone share about it, it really just becomes words. However, I thought Kim had a great way of presenting this yesterday at the Ypsilanti Ann Arbor branch meeting. I think we've all gone on vacations, right? For those of you on the camera, you can give a big hands up. Yep, I've been on vacation. I think we've all been on vacations, even if it's only for a 2 or 3 day getaway. How refreshing were those vacations? To just get away from our jobs, our houses, our chores, our honey-do list. Oh, sorry, honeys. Our responsibilities, our day-to-day environments, and be in a different place with different people and not have any of those home responsibilities to do. I think we all have, right? Well, that's what March 11th and 12th will be, and even greater, at our 80th anniversary dual region meeting, because you'll have iron sharpening iron, Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpening iron, being with hundreds of like-minded believers from 4 states: Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, and Kentucky. Maybe you know some people from those states. Maybe you should say, hey, let's have a rendezvous at the event. So if you haven't registered yet, register. Romans 15:4, most of you know this, tells us that for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our, and I'm sure you said it before I did, learning. It's written for our learning. In the Old Testament, they attended 3 big events like this every year. And they were week-long events, not just a weekend. Can you imagine 3 week-long vacations, and those vacations include like-minded believers to fellowship with? That's a great way God provided for them back in that day in Israel to remain unified. We can learn from this and apply the same. Learn from it because Romans 15:4 says we learn from that. Well, we know that the God of this world, the thief, comes to do 3 things: steal, kill, and destroy. And he is the master at divide and conquer. But God knows this. So he encourages fellowship like this so we can be unified and united together. Now, here are some issues that come up. And they are real issues: children, desire, time, and money. Children. Let's start there. Children. Basil shared some really inventive ways people have been coming up with for their children for this event. In one case, a parent's going to attend and bring all that information back to the family. In other cases, both parents can go, bring the children with them, have them at the hotel, and switch off in the meetings. Another couple's actually doing that. Maybe more than one couple with children, or even a single, can combine with a couple with children, and then one of them can take turns watching children. Another way to do it is a relative that isn't attending or in another region maybe. Maybe they live in another region, will be going to another one of these. Invite them to come watch the children at your home or at the hotel. We have another couple that's doing that. We used to do this all the time, mainly with Kim's parents. They would come up to where we were when we attended big events, and they would come to the hotel and hang out with the kids while we went to the event. Well, let's talk about desire, because we won't talk too long about it, because I really can't help you with that. Desire is built by the word we read and study every day, by recognizing what God has done for us, that we want to be where His word is being taught and is alive and happening. Let me ask you, does God promise to give you the desires of your heart? Psalm 37:4 maybe? Yeah, He sure does. So, but desire is built from our love for Him and our time in the Word. Now, when I talk about time and money, but time specifically, that's really talking about time off from work. Now, time and money, would you agree that those are needs? I would. But thinking about time really in jobs and off from work, most every job provides vacation days. I know there are some that are different, but most provide vacation days. I know our 2-week vacation each year used to be the Waycore week, and that was the week prior to the Rock of Ages. Some of you will remember that event. And then we took a week for the Rock of Ages. So our entire 2 weeks of vacation were spent with like-minded believers. And I can tell you, we have never had any regrets doing that. Well, today, this day and time, 2023, we're talking about 2 days, just 2 days, and they are both on the weekend. Those who work weekends may need to utilize a couple vacation days, but it's worth it. Those farther north, you may want to consider taking an extra day as well. Does God promise to meet all your needs? I think you know that verse and where I'm going there, Philippians 4:19. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about this? When is something really a need? I'll give you an example. Say you have children and you have a need for child care to go to the event. God promises to meet your needs, right? But when does that become a need? If you're not going to the event, then is it a need? No, it's not a need. Am I right? You're not going to the event. So why would it be a need? You're not going. So there's no need. But once you decide to go, now you have a need. And who promises to meet that need? Yeah, I know you answered it already. God. Not Scott, not Kim, not the ministry, but God Almighty. And this is true for anything that people say they have a need of. They only have a need after they've made a decision, made the commitment. Then those truly become needs, and God promises to meet them. Until we've made that decision, until we've made that commitment, there's no need for God to meet. Think about that. In Volume 1, Chapter 4, The Synchronized Life, Dr. Worrell sums up the scriptures on this topic with this statement. You probably all know it. Hey, go ahead and mute if you wouldn't mind, folks, or I can mute y'all, no problem. I got y'all. Bingo. He made this statement: confession of belief yields receipt of confession.
Can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, I muted myself. Sorry, y'all, I muted myself.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all, I muted myself in that whole process. Muted all, muted myself. Isn't that wild? So getting back to that statement, Dr. Worrell summed up the scriptures on this topic with this statement: confession of belief yields receipt of confession. In other words, what you are confessing is what you are getting. Now let me ask you, have you ever heard this statement before? I imagine you have. The man who says he can and the man who says he can are both, you probably said it, right. They're both right. I have people tell me I can't go. Well, I have no argument for them. They're right. Confession of belief yields receipt of confession. You can't go. You said so. I don't have the money. Well, you're right. Confession of belief yields receipt of confession. You don't. So I take you back to the first heartbeat for this ministry year from November and December. Rob will get a kick out of it. We are saying what we are focusing on, right? Stop focusing on the bananas, the I can't, the I don't. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read your heartbeat. Start focusing on God, the strawberries. I'm going. God is my sufficiency. I have enough because He provides. Confession of belief yields what? Receipt of confession. The man who says he can is right. So register. Then you have needs, and God promises to meet those needs. Here's some of the exciting things we'll have at this event. 5 teachings. We got a board of director. We got our country coordinator. We're going to hear from Dr. Werwell by way of a recording. Reverend Ketteridge is going to teach, and a guest young adult speaker from Kentucky. Headquarters Way Productions is going to be there, which will include a Saturday night concert. Woohoo! And we'll have the privilege of having a couple other Way Productions folks attend our event that will not be attending any of the other ones. We're special. There will also be a historical presentation and a full bookstore. And Saturday before the concert, we'll enjoy a supper meal together. Now, the main hotel, the Marriott Cincinnati North, has a huge area with tables and chairs to fellowship at after the Sunday night concert and again Sunday morning for breakfast. So there's so much available. Oh, and I understand there will be a special gift for each participant. Dr. World did this at the 40th anniversary. And here we get now at the 80th anniversary, you can get another one of those kind of gifts. I don't know if it'll be the same as what Dr. World presented. I doubt it, but it'll be something specific. So there's nothing to lose by joining us at this event, but there is much to gain. We are so looking forward to seeing so many of you, if not all of you, at this once-in-a-lifetime event. So that's the little different thing I wanted to share this month. That'll be different from other months. Now, a few things from around the state to bless you. Some of these will be repeats from the heartbeat, and I'll actually go through some in the heartbeat. But I'm going to ask all of you, if you have events. Now, the heartbeat, we can only put so many happenings in it because we just don't have room. But you know what? On these, we can talk more about happenings around the state. Here's a couple that I think will bless you. During a recent Power for Abundant Living Today class, one of our students was healed of a blood disease. That is very exciting. What a time of rejoicing we have. And now that we're into 2023, we started off with 2 Power for Abundant Living Today classes that were just run in the Lansing area, graduating 7 new students of that class. Yep, you can go ahead and clap. That's very exciting. Congratulations to those new students, if any of you are on, but their names will definitely be listed in the March-April heartbeat. The Grand Rapids area is running 2 intermediate classes. One started this weekend, and the other is starting next weekend. Yay! Grand Rapids area. That's awesome. And Kim just texted me, that's why I looked down at my watch, to remind me to tell you and remind you that the deadline for the event, the region meeting, is next Sunday, the 19th. So go ahead and get your registration in. If you need any assistance with that, see your fellowship coordinator or your branch coordinator, or contact me. Now, in the January-February heartbeat, we started a series on health. This is really important to pay attention to as we go through these next months. We're working with Basil. Basil's doing some of these as well. We are listening to the Lessons in Living course that Grace Bliss taught and others taught way back with Dr. Worwell. And these include things like eating, exercise, hygiene, sleep, and mental health. We'll be covering those 5 subjects. And they're very important subjects. especially if you are paying attention to things in the world. Doing these things are going to be very important as time moves on because of how things are being damaged in our environment, even our water, um, GMO foods. All this is reducing nutrition and has an impact. More of a sedentary lifestyle. We want to be vibrant for God into our later years. And so a lot of these principles we're going to be sharing and teaching are going to be very helpful. And in the first one, there's a quote from the book By Grace. I'm not going to read it, but you can go back and read it in the January, February Heartbeat. It's a great quote, and I would encourage you, if you don't have her book, go ahead and get it and read it. It's a wonderful book. Now, some of the happenings on the backside, want you to just to remind you some future dates. Already did on the 80th anniversary region celebration. In June, we've got the advanced class coming up, and I'm going to tell you who's currently registered and planning on going to the advanced class. So we got a couple new students. You get the clap for them. One in Midland, David Keys. Yep. A new student in Grand Rapids, Angela Usting. Yep. And then we have 4 that are going to the volunteer program. That means they'll be working part-time, putting on the event. That's kind of exciting. 1 in Grand Rapids, Debbie Bry. And the other 3 are in the Detroit area. Dale and Carol Walters and Michael Renew. And I would imagine Michael Renew is either on his way home or home already because he just attended the In Residence Way Corps Audit Weekend this past weekend. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. And then we saw some other happenings. Lucas Leeds in the Detroit branch won the contest that helped decide the school logo for the Math, Science, and Reading Advanced program. And we put in the Heartbeat a picture of it now. It's black and white. It looks nicer in color, I think. Amir Gooden placed top 5 in the state. How awesome is that? And these were academic games. It's a nationwide competition of outthinking other opponents in math, language arts, and social studies. Congratulations, Amir. Jonathan Mosley, physician's assistant, has a new job with Trinity Health, Oakland Hospital in Pontiac. So go see Jonathan. And David Allen was born to David and Brittany over there in Lansing on December 21st. So congratulations to that family. So send us happenings because we can do more on these calls than we can in a heartbeat. I do have another one that came in email recently that'll be in the next heartbeat. I'll tell you about that one. Mark Shepardigian. He was selected for the 2023, and I don't know what these initials stand for, but he can send them to me later. CANR Alumni Association Outstanding Alumnus Award. And that's from the Michigan State University College of Agricultural and Natural Science Alumni Association. So it's a pretty prestigious award. And he'll have a luncheon, believe it or not, on Friday, March 10th. And as soon as they get done the luncheon, they're jumping in the car to come down for the region meeting. That's pretty exciting. So congratulations, all those folks. And like I said, if you have any happenings, please send them. Well, I imagine most, if not all of you, are going to be watching the Super Bowl. And if you hadn't heard, there's an ad company in Michigan. Michigan agency is putting in a $20 million Super Bowl ad for Jesus. Now, I don't have time to tell you all about it, but I wasn't going to watch it. I am now. Plus the fact that the two quarterbacks are very outspoken Christians in their faith. So it's pretty exciting to see that going on. But the guy who put this together says the first ad, the 30-minute ad or 30-second ad, will melt people's hearts. But the longer ad, the 60-second one, will be more difficult for people to swallow. I don't know what that means, but I'll be recording it and maybe get to play it for folks at another time. Well, one more thing before we close. In future meetings, I think we're going to move these to Friday at lunch. There's too many other things that go on the weekends that vie with this. And Friday lunch, you can connect live if you're available on a Friday lunch. And if you're not, again, I'll be sending out the link and you can either watch from YouTube channel or listen from the YouTube channel. I don't know which recording's going to turn out okay. So whichever one does, that's the one that'll be out there and I'll send you the link. So you're all the best. It's been a privilege to share with you and we'll see you again next month, if not sooner. Bless your hearts. Love you. I'll unmute so you can all say bye to each other. Let me mute you. It's probably going to send unmute requests to everyone. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Love you all. Thank you.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Dan.